Hi, this is Andrew Warburton. I'm the property advisor. Thank you for joining us for Off the Cliff. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes going over statistics with you on the real estate market in Southern California and across the whole state. We're going to start locally and go out across the whole state, and you're going to see exactly what's going on. We like to make the distinction between facts and propaganda so that you can make a decision as an investor, so you can make a decision as a first-time home buyer or an upgrade buyer or a downsized buyer, exactly what to do. Before we get into the stats, we do this every Wednesday. I want to encourage you to subscribe right down here below so that I can keep you in touch. I want to build a relationship with you. Type in comments, type in questions. Andrew, what about Bakersfield? Andrew, what about here? Andrew, what about there? I'll be glad to reply back to you. And my whole team is here ready to support you as you make decisions that are going to affect the rest of your life. So let's jump right into it. At the end of this 10-minute session, I'm going to go into foreclosures, let you know how many foreclosures there are, how many short sales, how many notices of default, so you can really see the measure of the market in Southern California. Let's start locally. We're going to look at how many properties are active in San Diego County. Do you see right here? Under $1 million. And right now there are, here comes the number, drum roll, 1,715 properties. By the way, last week around the same stat, it was 1,800. Inventory is dropping. We have record low inventories. We'll get to that in just a moment. So if you've got 1,715 properties available under $1 million in San Diego, which is kind of the sweet spot for San Diego, how many of them have actually sold in the last 30 days? Is there a market or is there not? So we're going to go right over here and we're going to say in 30 days or less. Do you see that right there? 30 days or less. How many properties have sold under $1 million? And the answer to that question is, here it comes, 1,040 properties. That means 1,040 out of 1,715 have sold in the last 30 days. That is north, considerably north of 50% of the inventory has sold in the last 30 days. And when you have a look at it, many of those properties actually close in 10 days or less. And we can actually do that. We'll look at the solds right here. Here comes the list. And we can go over here and say, show us how many days on market. And you can see right over here to the right-hand side, right here, how many days on market. And as we scroll down, if we sort this list by 100, these 1,000 properties that sold, look how many of them sold in 0 days and in 1 day, right in this column right here. And if you go back by 5 pages, we're still 6 days, 7 days. That's 500 properties sold in 8 days or less. The 6th page, 600 properties. And right here, 575 properties sold in 10 days or less. So the market in San Diego is on fire. Is there a lack of inventory? Yes. Loans are available. Property is selling. The market's on fire. And if you're going to make an offer in San Diego, expect to make a good, strong offer because there is a lot of competition. Let's look at another area in Southern California, which is the Inland Empire. And in the Inland Empire, there's a county called Riverside County. And under $1 million in Riverside County, here it is again, under $1 million, Riverside County, active properties. So let's get rid of the closed. Just active properties in Riverside County. There are, here comes the drum roll, there are over 2,500 properties for sale. Actually, there's 4,427. This includes Palm Springs. It includes Riverside itself. It includes the wine country area in Temecula, all those areas north of San Diego where there's been so much growth. 4,427 properties are available. By the way, as we'll see later, year on year, that inventory is way down. But of those 4,427, how many of them have actually closed in the last 30 days? You're going to be shocked. In 30 days, under $1 million, out of the 4,300 or so listings, 1,700 have sold. Okay? That's, what is that? A good 30% of them have sold. Actually, more than that. 1,701 out of 4,300. It's high 40 percentiles. That means there's roughly a couple of months worth of inventory. So there's a tremendous turnover of property. And if you look again at the results of this in Riverside County, and you sort them by pages, and of 100 listings, and you look at how many days on market, look at this column with me right here. This column shows zeros. Look how many properties sold in 0 days. 1 day, 2 day. Let's go 600 sales deep. And at 600 sales deep, if you look on the right-hand side here, we're still at 9, 10 days. So in Riverside County, where there's those 4,300 properties, 600 of them sold in 10 days or less. Again, Riverside County, the market is strong. Property is turning over. There are multiple offers on property in spite of the pandemic. We could go county by county. We could go to Los Angeles County, San Francisco County, and you'll see Humboldt. You'll see the same numbers over and over and over again. Now, what I'd like to do now is give you an overview in the state as a whole. What's happening across the state of California? Now, this is a very interesting statistical analysis. Look over here where the cursor is. This is all property types. I'm going to change that to single family. I'm going to look at attached and detached single family homes. And I want to have a look at how many new listings there were over the last month, as you can see monthly right here, in California as a whole. This is from San Francisco to Los Angeles to San Diego. And have a look at this right here. 13,487 listings in April. That is dramatically low year on year. 13,400. Look at April last year. 25,000. April in 2018. 25,000, and so on and so forth. Nearly half. So California inventory is at half. Remember, interest rates are down. Buyers are buying. So there's a lot of competition for that low inventory. And as we come out of the pandemic, you're going to see a lot of competition. I think it's a great time for sellers to sell because there's a lot of competition for the property. There isn't a flood of listings on the market, and sellers are going to get a good price. And buyers are willing to pay it because, you know what? Life must go on. People are still meeting and falling in love and making children and building businesses. Life goes on in America, and when people live and work, of course, people who don't work don't care so much, but people who live and work want to buy a home, they want to invest in their families, they want to prepare for the future. So life is going on, and you can see new listings are down, active listings. Have a look at active listings. Again, this is across the entire state of California. Active listings seasonally are way down. Look at this. 34,000, nearly 35,000 in April this year, active listings across the state. Look at 2018 in April. There were 68,000, 34, 68, 34, 68. The year before, very, very similar, 71,000. So inventory, again, active listings, about 50%. Now let's have a look at this. How many properties are going into escrow? How many buyers and sellers are making agreements? Because you see in the propaganda news, oh, it's impossible to get a loan, it's impossible to buy a house, nobody wants to buy a house, everybody's unemployed. It's just not true. I'm very sorry for everybody who is unemployed. Many of those millions, their jobs are going to open up again because the nail salons, the hair salons, the restaurants, the bowling alleys, the ball fields are going to open, and they don't run by robots, they run by people. So those jobs will come back. But how many properties are pending in escrow? Have a look at this. Of course, the number has dropped. You look at the number here, it's 7,803 April this year. That's what the pandemic's done. April last year, 17,000, 10,000 less. The year before, April, 17,000, 10,000 less. So you say, see, Andrew, the market's no good. But you have to understand, inventory is at a half. The governor has not allowed people to go out and interact with real estate. So, of course, people are terrified to go outside. But the property that is coming on the market is selling. Most of it is selling. Much of it, 30, 40%, is selling in 10 days or less. Inventory is down. Pendings are down, but relative to the number of listings, it is strong. The market is strong. Let's have a look at closed sales. This is not propaganda. It's the facts. You can see the facts. Closed sales. Look at the closed sales. In the last 30 days, 11,093. Look at April last year. 16,000, so down 40%. The year before, how many is it? 16,000, and now 11,000. So again, 11,000 sales took place across the state of California when people weren't allowed on the beach, they weren't allowed to go to the restaurant, they weren't allowed to go to church, they weren't allowed to go to political gatherings, they weren't allowed to meet on the street, they weren't allowed to be anything but 6 feet apart from people, and still 11,000 properties sold. Why? Because the interest rates are down, the underlying real estate economy is strong, and life goes on. People want to buy homes because life goes on. Sellers, this is a great time to sell. Funnily enough, buyers, it's a good time to buy because the interest rates are down. You might go, Andrew, I want to wait till one day it's 20% less. Okay, then maybe you're going to pay 40% more because of the interest rate will affect your payment. So it's about affordability. I promised you that I'd wrap this up by talking about foreclosures. So let's go all the way over here and let's filter these sales and say, let's have a look just at foreclosure sales. How many foreclosures and how many REOs are there? REO is real estate owned. So let's have a look at active real estate owned in the state of California. Properties owned by banks. Look at this right here. Look at this. Look at this. Don't look at the propaganda. Look at this right here. April 2020, there's 287 bank-owned properties for sale in the state of California. Look at April in 2017. There were 1,168. 1,100, 300. 1,100, 300. Look at 2015 in April. 1,700, 300. 1,700, 300. What about properties that are in foreclosure but aren't taken back by the banks yet? Let's have a look at that. 2015 in April, 1,700. 2020 in April, 287. I want to watch these foreclosures with you. Again, I invite you to subscribe. I invite you to follow through with me week by week and get the facts, not the propaganda. If we see foreclosures go up, you're going to know. If we see them go down, you're going to know. If listings increase in volume, you're going to know. If they go down, you're going to know. You are going to know what's happening in this state so that you can make a decision what's the best thing to do with your money and where to place it in real estate to secure your American dream. Again, I want to thank you for watching The Property Advisor. Subscribe down here. Watch one of these other videos. Join me every Wednesday as we look at the real estate market in California. Is it on the cliff or is it off the cliff? This is the place you're going to find out the facts. Thanks for watching.